Okay, next we're going into our public comment. So we have 6 listed, but actually 7. 2 are coming up together. With our time and that, 2.5 minutes. So, well, 2.5 minutes, and as you're making public comment, kind of pay attention to Miss Lorraine here to my left. She'll kind of give you a little clue when your time's up. Time is of importance. But we're glad that you're here and want to share a comment. We'll start off with Ramey Best. Did I get the name right? Okay. And then on deck will be Alison Banch.
Good morning. I'm here to speak to you today regarding the proposed law to include recess in the school day calculations. My name is Ramey Best, and I'm a parent of 3 boys that attend Centennial Elementary School in the Alpine School District. For those that are not aware, Centennial Elementary is in Orem and covers the former Sierra Park and Hillcrest Elementary School boundaries. This is Centennial's first year in operation since the 2 schools were consolidated. With the new school came new schedules. One big change in the new schedules was going from 3 recesses a day down to 2. On this new schedule, during a full 6.5-hour school day, Centennial students only receive 35 minutes of recess a day. And that is on a good day when recess isn't revoked from a student or entire class, as my children have experienced as a form of punishment. When Centennial parents questioned the school about whether or not 35 minutes was an adequate amount of time for recess, the parents were told in a video posted on the school's Facebook page that the schedule was exactly as it needed to be to comply with instructional time requirements dictated by state law. Trying to learn how Alpine School District felt about the matter, a parent reached out to a district board member. The board member responded in an email with, quote, "As a district, we have moved to 1 recess in addition to lunch recess to meet the state requirements of 990 hours, end quote. Current rule states that school day calculations may include recess periods as long as they include organization or instruction from school staff. But this ambiguous wording of organization or instruction from school staff is causing confusion as to what can actually be counted, and as a result, students are losing valuable recess time, all in the name of complying with state law. So what exactly is recess? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention define recess as, quote, regularly scheduled periods within the elementary school day for unstructured physical and activity and play, end quote. And why is recess so important? An article published in 2013 from the American Academy of Pediatrics titled "The Crucial Role of Recess in School" explains that, quote, recess is a necessary break in the day for optimizing a child's social, emotional, physical, and cognitive development, end quote. The article also states that, quote, recess helps young children to develop social skills that are not otherwise acquired in the structured classroom setting. It also goes on to explain that students are more attentive and better able to perform cognitively after recess. Also, the article encourages, quote, recess is a child's personal time and should not be withheld for academic or punitive reasons, end quote. Every student, no matter age or location, benefits from recess. With over half of their wakeful day being spent at school, 35 minutes of recess is not adequate to meet the physical and emotional needs of these children. Whether intentional or not, current rule is restricting our districts and schools and how much recess they can give their students. We need to stop this. We need to remove the ambiguous wording and pass the proposed board law that allows schools to include recess in their instructional time school day calculations and decide at a local level how much recess is needed in their school. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next we'll have Alison Banch with Erin Garrett on deck.
Good morning. My name is Alison Banch, and I'm a parent in Alpine School District. And my children are in the Chinese dual immersion program, and we've been in it for about 6 years with 3 of my children. Another child is just in the regular mainstream classroom. And we've come across an issue with dual enrollment and dual immersion. I am aware that this has been brought up before, where a family has wanted to dual enroll their child and take them out for the English portion and keep them in for the Chinese portion. And as a parent that has seen my child all of my children succeed in this immersion program, we've noticed that there were some other things on the other end that, as a family and as a parent, we wanted to change in our family and our routine, and different things that we wanted to teach in different ways, whether with tutors or private schooling. And so my proposal here is that, and my opinion, is that they've always been told no. And there was no reason given except that it was illegal. And Mr. Perdue, the principal, has told me the same thing. He said, we can't do it because the state board has said it's illegal. And so as I'm searching in the state code, it talks of receiving funds, and I quote, to provide a full-day immersion instruction model to students. It says nothing about the parent's role or dual enrollment in this statement or in any of the other code. And logistically and educationally, the school district and the principal and the teachers have not seen any issue with this other family that has tried it, but then we're told no. And the education of the child in the Chinese program didn't have any problem. They continued to succeed. Is my opinion and the opinion of our state representative, that the section of code cited only applies to the local district and how they set up the program. It lists no prohibition on the student or parent in exercising their options, such as dual enrollment listed in other sections of state code. It is my proposal that we can better clarify the wording of the code in keeping the rights of the parents as the primary educator and working with the parent on the issue. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Erin Garrett, and then we'll have on deck Tracy Collins and Duke Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Erin Garrett. I'm a father of 2 boys in the Salt Lake City School District, and I'm also a former Utah State Board of Education employee in the School Children's Trust section. I was here about a year ago to talk with you regarding school grading, and I'm here again as part of a series of comments you've been hearing from a loosely affiliated group of parents. While there was momentum for accountability standards legislation in the House last year, unfortunately the Senate refused to even hear about that policy change in last year's legislative session. Ahead of this year's session, I'm encouraging all of you to clarify a couple of things with your senators and legislators. First, the senators who passed the original grading bill earnestly believed that grades were a critical component of reform, but that does not change the policy's track record. School grading has not increased achievement nor growth on a national scale. Rather than cement a well-intended but ineffective policy, the Senate should honor the legacies of their peers by committing to the best reform models, and you can help them with that. Second, data is important to drive administrative choices by schools and LEAs, and it is also important for teachers to modify instruction. But parents like me do not uniformly know how adaptive testing works, how data is normed, and we lack the skills and knowledge to compare school data for the purposes of school choice. When Utah uses a single-letter grade that's then published on real estate websites and used elsewhere, the state is essentially encouraging families to choose schools by income level and a lack of English language learners. This isn't fair and it's not right. Third, no one clamored for the return of the grade after the Act and RISE were implemented, and it's my understanding that this board even needs a waiver due to concerns with RISE. While the U.S. Board of Education knows that data is useful and usable for federal reporting requirements and administrative purposes, schools and parents can't be beholden to that grade. And that should prove they never, and the dashboard alone should be sufficient. I may be telling you things that you already know, but the Senate does not. Please communicate with them and make sure that this policy change happens for the good of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll invite Tracy Collins and Duke Johnson with Jimmy May on deck. Tracy Collins and Duke. Okay, let's have Jimmy May come up, please.
Morning. Thank you for having me. appreciate this opportunity to speak. My name is Jimmy May. I live in Park City, and I'm grateful to be here. Your own rules, the USBE's own rules for core guides demand that collateral 1 meet Utah law, and 2, that the collateral be efficacious. Yet the mechanism currently in place is inconsistent with this mandate and has resulted in confusion for many of us in the community, as well as for some of you and your staff, as I understand it. And there's an absence of accountability and an apparent endorsement of inappropriate collateral in some cases. I'm here to endorse the need for a formal, documented process for posting third-party collateral on the USBE website, to ensure that only qualified collateral is posted, and 3, that a mechanism is adapted to remove inappropriate collateral. For example, the current process has resulted in various references on the USBE site to collateral from the so-called Welcoming Schools program. It's a program which violates the law and your own rules in several ways. I'm a scientist by training, a data engineer by career. I am data-driven. As a Microsoft architect, I'm pretty good at internet searches, yet I can find exactly 0 results supporting the efficacy of Welcoming Schools, which brands itself as a broad-based anti-bullying program, but which is in fact focused almost exclusively on LGBTQ issues. There are other anti-bullying programs that are not only more comprehensive and genuinely inclusive, they also have evidence to support them, that is, empirical data, results to back them up. For example, BOTFA Life Skills programs and Operation Respect are 2 such programs that have been shown to work. But there's no such evidence, none, for Welcoming Schools. Some of our peers argue, often dismissively, sadly, that Welcoming Schools isn't sex education. Yet under Utah law, it clearly is, and therefore requires parental opt-in. References to human sexuality, human reproduction, physiology, marriage, and parenthood, all qualifying facets under Utah Law 53G 10403, are littered throughout Welcoming Schools. Also, I have no time to share the clear violations of Title IX promoted by Welcoming Schools. Advocates for Youth is another sex ed program. It's a comprehensive sex education program, and it's likewise against the law in Utah, yet appears in USBE core guides. Okay, in conclusion, our experience has proven that I have 3 asks, since my time is up. Please, 1, adopt a formal documented process for posting third-party collateral on the USBE site. 2, ensure that only qualified collateral is posted. And 3, provide a clear process to flag and pull down inappropriate content. Please let me know how I can help. Happy and eager to do so. And again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Alison Cook.
Good morning. My name is Alison Cook, and I'm a parent from the Park City School District. I'd like clarification on how programs are vetted before they are listed on the USBE website. In particular, I have concerns regarding Welcoming Schools. I believe the Welcoming Schools program represents an explicit violation of the prohibition on teaching political doctrine in public schools, except as is necessary to maintain constitutional freedom in the public schools. Quote, political doctrine may not be taught in the public schools, end quote. I believe that Welcoming Schools is overtly a program designed to politically indoctrinate children. For example, books written by political satirists such as A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundo by Jill Twiss and Santa's Husband by Daniel Kibblesmith are some of those recommended by Welcoming Schools for kids in grades K through 2. I brought the books for your reference. They're being passed around. In addition, the module on gender affirmation explicitly states, quote, educators should support students on their gender journey, even if they do not have affirming family, end quote. This is in direct violation of both Utah and federal law. The Supreme Court has found that parents have a fundamental right to control the upbringing and education of their children, And I've provided a copy of the gender affirmation guidelines for your reference as well. To be clear, I and all parents expressing concern would like to see an across-the-board anti-bullying program implemented, which includes an LGBTQ component. As the parent of a gay son, I'm grateful that the Sharp survey statistics show that my gender and my sexual orientation are the two least common reasons kids are bullied statewide and in the Park City School District. It's taken a lot of hard work and advocacy to get here. However, my son was one of the 20 students injured in the bear spray attack against a conservative group at the high school. Not one Park City School Board member nor administrator condemned the attack. No one reached out to me to see if he was okay. Nothing was done by the school board or administration to address this incident that was not only bullying, but criminal. A concern by many is that some bullying episodes have been immediately addressed, as they should be, while others are overlooked or perceived to be swept under the rug. I choose to voice my concerns publicly because I believe we can figure this out and legally meet the needs of most of the kids and constituents in Utah with an open dialogue. Welcoming schools does not fit the bill. It introduces political divisiveness into our schools, which leads to a culture where attacks like the one at PCHS can occur. I would like to understand how such a program has been recommended by the USBE on its website. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. I appreciate the opportunity to share my concerns with all of you. Happy New Year.
We'll do one more shout out or call out for Tracy Collins and Duke Johnson. Okay, I'm not seeing. This concludes our public participation, public comment portion of our agenda.